Memorial Day Monday here on UCY.TV. You were just listening to a rerun of Bill Cooper from back in the 90s or 2000s. Now it's live. Boiler Room Radio. I'm your host, Jim Funke, and the guy over there in the chair that calls himself my sidekick is Mr. Lance Musser. Lance, how are you today? Did you have a good day? Did you barbecue? Spend some time with the family? What happened?
Well, today was my son's 21st birthday, so we went to Dave and Buster's.
Right on.
And had just a rocking time. I mean, it's, good breakaway from reality. Just go in there and eat, play games, drink. So, good times.
What kind of games, man? How many tickets did you win? I see the commercials with those guys running around with hands full of tickets.
And there were actually single guys, or maybe not single, but 2 and 3 Navy guys maybe together running around just like that commercial. But I think we got, 3, 4, 5,000 tickets. I mean, there were 7 of us that went.
Wow.
So. And it was like $100 a game token. So it was fun. Yeah, it was fun.
What do you get to cash those in for?
All kinds of prizes, and they were actually real cool prizes, but, one of them that he picked was one of those, hey, you want some chips? And then you open up a Pringles can and snake pops out at you.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. Used to love those back in the day.
Well, he may be 21, but he's still getting on 8. So.
Right on. Well, good thing. Glad you had a good time, man. Sorry you didn't get to go to see, Jimmy Buffett. That kind of really sucks because that's an excellent show. That guy puts on an excellent show.
Yeah. Lesson to anybody listening, don't let a spider bite get infected because it'll jack you up for 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm going on 3 weeks, tomorrow.
And headed back to the doctor.
Tomorrow. All my antibiotics are out and my still swollen, still hurting, so nothing's right.
Man, Silverwater, I'm telling you. And we all told you Saturday night too when we had the round table. Everybody that was on the round table said Silverwater, man, Silverwater. So.
Yep. Did you guys do a good cookout today or anything?
No, actually just kind of hung out around the house here. It was kind of gloomy on and off and spitting rain a little bit, and there's more storms coming tonight, so just
that's the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday rain that'll be here then, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been rolling through Missouri a little bit worse than Arkansas got it, or is getting it. But,
well, I hope everybody got to enjoy a good Memorial Day cookout or something.
Over the weekend, I was on my AM just hitting every channel that I could find. I got upper and lower sideband on this. It's not really a big radio. It's just 40 channels, but oh man, the skip conditions were just amazing, dude. You could hear people talking from Australia. I couldn't get back to them, but you could hear them talking from Australia, from over in Europe and South America coming up here. And it was amazing. 38. If anybody out there has got AM radio, 38 lower sideband. You hear all kinds of stuff. I mean, it comes in from all over. And I sat and talked with a couple of guys from, where was he at? I think it was way north Minnesota. His handle's Rock. And I mean, the conditions were just so perfect that we sat there and talked back and forth like we were sitting on each other's doorstep for at least 2 hours.
And I think I've asked you, or maybe I didn't, if there was a grid down scenario, if you had a solar way to create your own energy, could you still talk on those?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Because, I mean, you can plug this in 12 volt or 110. It'll go either way.
Gotcha.
So, because you can take these big base station units and mount them up in a semi and stuff. I've seen guys have them mounted up in their sleepers and whatever.
Mm-hmm. I gotcha.
So, yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I got 110 too for it, so,
Mm-hmm.
I got all my backup power stuff. I'm wondering if it's going to make it through a solar. I mean, if it was really devastating like an X15 or an X20 or 25.
Would it get fried, you mean?
Yeah. If it just smoke all the wires and batteries and, because I can't run around and shield everything with a big sheet of copper,
Well, how similar is it to telegraphs? Because that got devastated.
Well, a lot of the telegraph wires back then were aluminum though.
Oh.
And, I don't have the aluminum that I do have that's running from the solar into the shed is buried in the ground. So I'm not really, it's not deep, but it's buried.
Gotcha.
And it's inside of PVC pipe.
PVC, yeah, I remember seeing that.
I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully we never have to see.
Yeah, that would be hopeful.
It's going to get, I'm finishing up the wiring and everything into the house and, that's going to all get done this summer. So about the end of July, middle of July, I'm going to find out exactly what it's going to take, because I'm cutting the wires from the pole to the house, having them come out and take the weatherhead off. And so stand by, everybody. I should be
sure they'll let you do that. You sure they'll let you do that?
They have no choice. They don't own this property.
I remember seeing them when they tried to install them in those videos, and I think some people refused them. I don't know if they ever got them though.
I don't know. We'll see.
I know around here, if there's city water, you have to be hooked up to city water. You don't have to use it, but you got to be hooked up to it.
I got my own well out here.
Even if you've got a well, if there's city water,
there's no city water
in the area. Yeah, you have to have it here.
Yeah. Oh well. See, that's there. This is here.
Right. That's right. It's difference of the country, non-country.
Right. And I know there's a lot of people around here that have gone completely solar. You hear people talking about it all the time. There's a big company up in South Missouri, up in Gainesville, I think is where it is, that does solar around this area, and they're down here quite often setting people up. So
it's gaining ground. I wish. Did I send you those little itty bitty 500 square foot houses, or did you send them to me?
Well, either way, those things are kick ass, man.
Yeah, I mean, they had a little loft. They were all off grid, and they cost $2,000 to build.
Yeah. To build to a box, right? That does not include all the furniture and stuff you see.
Correct. But how soon before all of us have the balls to do that? You know,
I saw that one. I don't know if you saw the one. I don't know if I passed it to you or not. I know I tagged you on it on Facebook, but it's been a couple weeks ago. But there's a company somewhere in the mid East Coast by you, I think. I think it's in Tennessee or something. That's taken like 40-foot goosenecks and built houses on them that you can just hook to the back of your truck and drag around with you.
What's a gooseneck? Is that one of those big metal containers?
No, a gooseneck trailer. Like a 40-foot flatbed gooseneck trailer. Yes. The gooseneck goes up into the bed of the pickup and hooks up like a semi kind of, right?
Right.
And you can just, but he's building actual houses on them.
So you can move them around and then.
Right. You just hook it up.
I do remember that. I mean, how soon before all of us get wise up, get rid of big oil, and just give them the big thing?
Get rid of big everything. I can't understand why Gates has a house the size of the house that he has when it's just him and Melinda, right? I mean,
55,000 square feet.
Right. He's got a full-size Olympic swimming pool inside his house. That's just ridiculous, man. I mean, that's living to excess. That's somebody that's leaking.
He is spending a lot of his own money on killing kids throughout the world, though. So, I mean, that's there is something to say for that. He is spending a lot of his own money trying to vaccinate
the hell out of the population.
Yeah, right. Population control. And he's actually quoted it, which is a scarier thought. So.
Yeah, at the TED conference, when he released all the mosquitoes into the auditorium and said, they all have malaria, so guess what, folks? If you feel a little stick in your neck, might want to go see a doctor.
Yeah. Crazy guys.
Yeah. Satan worshipers. Okay. Let's, speaking of Satan worshipers, let's move on to Smoker's Market Minute.
Yeah, we can. I mean, it was obviously a light day, Memorial Day. So, I mean, the markets looked like they were open. They were reporting on Bloomberg. The bond market wasn't, but the stock market. Cause people overseas trade on it too.
They got a rape every day of the week.
Yeah, it's still like 16,600. So, oh well.
Stories?
Yeah, I got, one or two. Paul Craig Roberts. If you remember him, he was the, U.S. Treasury, former U.S. Treasury official, Dr. Paul Craig Roberts. So he's a shield too. But, you know how much I like King World News because they seem to have some good people on there. He warned that the threat made by Putin and really from now on, I think I'm just going to focus on Russia and how they're jabbing us. Well, because they're going to be in the news every day.
He's trying. Putin is going to dump over the next 5 years. I think he's going to dump like $70 billion into Moscow, into the infrastructure of telecommunications and internet and all that kind of shit. He wants to try to make Moscow a financial hub, like the city of London, Hong Kong, New York Stock Exchange, all that kind of. He wants Moscow to be that way.
Right.
So.
In fact, I was and I don't have that article. Apparently I didn't save it, but I was just reading about all that, about just the massive number of treasuries that they've dumped.
Oh yeah. 35 billion.
Yeah, and they really want, I mean, they have all these trade agreements now of trading in their own currencies. So, I mean, we're seeing, and this guy actually focuses on it because, and that's, I'll go ahead and paraphrase some of this. So, Eric King asked Dr. Roberts, there's this International Economic Forum in St. Petersburg, Russia. I know the U.S. has pulled out, but does the high level of attendance, despite Washington's pressure, indicate fading U.S. influence? Because that's a big one. I remember Washington, if you remember, they were trying to tell everybody don't go because of the sanctions, and they're trying to puff up their chests. So he answered, yes, one of the advisors to Putin has publicly complained that Washington has put unprecedented pressure on American and European countries not to attend. But it turns out that at this forum, which began yesterday, which was actually 2 days ago, and continues today and tomorrow, there are official delegations from 62 countries and the CEOs of 146 of the major companies in the world. Every single one of them were asked not to go. Last year, trade deals were made that totaled $263 billion, more than $250 billion, with these nations. And I suspect that there will be an equal success in trade deals this year. For example, the heads of BP, Shell, Exxon, Phillips, Caterpillar, they all went to St. Petersburg for the International Economic Forum.
They're not stupid.
Yeah, exactly. They know where the money's at, despite Washington's pressure. So what we are seeing is that it's okay to cooperate with Washington's absurd foreign policy and till it starts to affect the bottom line. And if it affects the bottom line, the Germans, as an example, aren't so interested because they went. You may have seen that the French had said they're going to continue their military sales to Russia regardless of Washington. And for France to say that, that's pretty ballsy for them because, you know, they have the white flag as their state flag. And so I think this is an indication that the world thinks Washington is overreaching, trying to control the affairs of too many countries and too many companies. And I don't think this is going to be tolerated. What about the implications for U.S. financial hegemony? We have the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum where everybody basically blew off the U.S. and Asia showed up in mass, as well as a bunch of other countries and companies. And now we have this move away from the U.S. dollar. Said, well, I think it's the most interesting part of the forum was President Putin's speech at the forum. He explicitly criticized the United States for bringing such a strategic threat to Russia. He spoke very diplomatically, but the implication is that they're simply not going to tolerate the Ukraine as a member of NATO with American missile bases on a Russian border.
Nope.
He doesn't say it in so many words, but it was the way he emphasized the fact that Washington thinks they can just ignore Russia. And he also explicitly criticized the Europeans for being Washington's puppets. So he's digging it. He didn't use the word puppet, but he criticized them for being unresponsive to Russians' efforts to resolve the crisis and for telling Russia that it was none of Russia's business. He accused the Europeans for being snobs, thinking that they're too good to talk to the Russians. So whatever hopes Russia had for the deals at the economic summit, the most important thing for Putin was to send this message to the powerful American firms and to the powerful European firms that if this continues, if the governments ignore legitimate Russian protest about policies and continue to disregard the aspect of the Ukraine crisis and the meaning of it for Russia itself, there was going to be further trouble. So I think the message will go back to the idiots in Washington and to Washington's vassals and the Merkel, Cameron, and the Holland governments. And then they'll have to decide whose interests are really on the line. Is it in Germany's, France, and the UK's interest to create a situation for Russia that does not benefit Germany, France, or the UK, but merely serves the purpose of American hegemony over the world? So
your dog's upset about something.
Yeah, she is. So I think this was a strategic move by Putin at this conference. And that's probably the most important aspect of the conference. Not that so many firms from 62 countries appeared ready to do business with the Russians, despite Washington's threat of sanctions. Instead, that occasion was used by President Putin to send a message. Of course, Washington is full of hubris and arrogance and will ignore the messages, but I think it's going to be harder for Merkel and Holland. They have too many jobs and too much of an industry dependent on economic relations with Russia. And just so they won't sacrifice, just so Washington can continue to be the sole superpower and prevent other countries from rising. That's pretty powerful. So, I mean, he got that out to the world, and the other nations are picking up on it. The other countries are picking up on it.
I sent you that link today for the YouTube video for Sophie and Co. on RT, where she sat down with Jim Rogers for a half hour and quizzed the shit out of him about what's going on. And he pretty much said the same thing. He has absolutely no clue what the U.S. is thinking. You know?
Absolutely.
And she asked him, you know, she said several years ago, you started investing in Russia and the ruble and various Russian companies. Why are you doing that with everything looking the way it is, all the shaking going on in Ukraine? And he said, I see what's coming in the future. He said, I don't invest short term, I invest long term, and I see what's going on. And that's where I got the whole Moscow thing. You know, he's the one that told the whole world 70 billion is going into Moscow.
Well, I mean, a lot of the other nations are looking at it too, where, hey, if we piss off America, they're going to sanction us. So let's move to a different currency.
Exactly. You know, why hold dollars if all of a sudden one morning the American administration wakes up and they don't like what we're doing and they throw a sanction at us?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so why hold on to that currency? Let's try to stay away from U.S.
Oh yeah, I mean it's.
Congratulations, Washington. Yeah, they're geniuses.
They're geniuses, all right. And really, the only other story I had another one.
Just real quick.
Okay.
Karzai gave the big FU to Bronco.
When? Just
in Afghanistan.
Today?
Well, evidently Bronco jumped on a plane and flew over there to visit the troops on a whim.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he called up Karzai's office and said, hey, while I'm here, why don't you come meet me on the tarmac, getting ready to leave? And he said, no.
I might get killed. Yeah, he had Brad Paisley or somebody over there with him. I can't remember who it was. Some country western guy went with him. Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
And I mean, really the only other story, I had another one, but it was longer, so I'll save it for Wednesday. The hedge funds, what they're doing to the crude oil right now, because you know how what causes the oil prices is just speculation. Right. So, you know, these hedge funds are getting in on the speculations. Well, and more too. But, you know, Memorial Day weekends today. Today was supposed to be the busiest gas consumption day since 2005. So, you know, they expect the prices of oil to go up because once they start speculating, you know, I mean, I'm at $3.59 a gallon here.
Well, see, back in the day, it used to be summertime driving season bump. And then when fall hit, it'd go back down. And then the winter, as soon as the snow flew, bump, it'd go back up. And then it'd go back down. And you know what I mean? It used to bounce back and forth. Now it's, summertime bump and it stays there. And then wintertime bump and it stays there. And summertime bump and it stays there. And that's why over the last 8 years or so, it's gone from under $2 a gallon to damn near $5 in certain locations. Mm-hmm. So. Anyway, because they love them profits, man. They love them profits, boy.
Yeah, and, you know, lastly, just be looking for gold. I mean, there's some big people saying that, you know, at the blink of an eye, it's going to go up $100 an ounce because whoever's making the price of gold or pricing gold should be ashamed of themselves.
Well, there's an investigation going on, too, about the rigging and stuff. And that's going to come to fruition sometime in the near future. Mm. And, you know, cause they've got the banks and some other places dead to rights fixing, you know, it's just like the LIBOR thing, only with metal.
Is gold finite? I mean, I think it is because some of the articles.
It's not naturally occurring, if that's what you mean. It's not a generation of the tectonic movement of the earth like oil and natural gas.
Right, exactly.
But,
so,
gold is finite. Unless we get hit by a huge chunk of meteor that's made of gold, there's not going to be any more on the planet for a while.
So why is
we haven't even scratched the surface, though. I mean, as far as, you know, as far as finding gold,
right?
We haven't found it all.
No.
So.
No.
And there's there's mines that are producing thousands of ounces a day.
Right.
So.
It's the same thing with silver. I mean, we all know it's underpriced because so all the other countries can stock up on it before the price goes up.
Right. It's not like diamonds. Diamonds reoccur. Those kimberlite tubes keep puking them out of the center of the earth, man. You know, and oil and natural gas, that doesn't come from dead dinosaurs, y'all. No.
We just need solar. Everybody needs to go solar or geothermal. I mean, there's so many others. It's just nutty that more of us aren't off the grid.
It is. Because it's so simple. I mean, granted, it doesn't, I mean, it's not cheap, but it's not super expensive either. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, our local power company raised our prices 37% this year.
Well, it's because the mind factor is just,
they blamed it on the cold winter. Yeah, they blamed it on the cold winter and overconsumption, so they had to raise their prices 37%.
Whatever.
Sounds like rigging to me.
Yeah. Sounds like boosh.
And I don't know if you were on the road today, but I do know the Commonwealth of Virginia had to have collected a couple $100,000 worth of fines to the corporate masters for speeding out on the highways. There were, in this area, like a 30-mile stretch, because I went over to Virginia Beach. I mean, I saw 30 people pulled over today.
Are you serious?
30 people. We kept seeing them because they were sitting in a group.
Was there did you see the cop on the overpass with the gun?
No. He was sitting right on the side of the road, standing outside of his car.
Probably airplanes
shooting. No, shooting them there. And then down about half a mile up, there was a pull-off in the median of the interstate, and then there was like 12 cars there. So that would hit them. They'd radio ahead and pull them over. I was on the road today a couple hours because of all the driving I did, and I'm telling you, that's how many cars I saw pulled over. It was amazing. We got so much money today. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like everybody's flush with money, y'all. I mean, 92 million of us are without a job. 96 million, I think it's closer to now.
And you know what's kind of weird today? Off track. I went through a different tunnel. I drove through Norfolk today because the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel was backed up like 6 miles. So I local knowledge, I just went through another tunnel.
Rats in a maze.
Yeah, exactly. But this tunnel has been here 50, 60 years. That's when they built it. And it's got a toll on it that just came up on it within the last 30 days. And I'm like, dude, I've been traveling this freaking interstate.
We talked about that last week, man.
5 years. And they put a toll on it last month.
We talked about that last week. Bronco passed a thingy. I don't know if it was an executive order or if it was actual, whatever, but it was some kind of transportation act that said that every state in this country now can apply tolls to any federal highway.
There were two of them, and they were both interstate. So yeah, it goes right through, underneath the Elizabeth River. We got two tunnels, Midtown and downtown, and they got tolls on them. I was beside myself.
If it's a tunnel going under a huge body of water, I'd be willing to toss them a couple of nickels to make sure that the tunnel doesn't crush in eventually, for just maintenance purposes or whatever. So.
No, the two big, huge tunnels that are miles long apiece under the water, which is the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel, the Monterey Merrimack Bridge Tunnel, they're both free. There's no tolls on those. But the two middle ones that are shortcuts to get to the other ones, they got tolls on them.
And how much are the tolls?
75 cents.
Per axle or just for a car?
Just for a car. It was $1.50 if you were a truck. And motorcycles were 75 cents.
Yeah, I think on one of my early shows, I remember talking about the city of Chicago. This is before I got the move on. The city of Chicago, the toll roads around the city of Chicago on a yearly basis make enough money to repave every single road in the state that the state owns.
It's swallowed by the government though.
I know, but just think about that kind of money generation.
New Jersey's the same
think
way.
Of the condition that town is in. Think of the condition that the roads are in, that you're paying the freaking toll to ride on.
Let's use New Jersey as an example too.
Yeah, and potholes that swallow a tire.
And you got to pay to go everywhere in New Jersey.
There's people that are so fed up, like in Detroit and I think Jersey too, and Chicago. Like I got a couple of friends on Facebook, Sean Garriston. It's incredible reading some of the stories that he puts out there. There's businesses closing all over the place because they're tired of the shit. They're moving out of town or whatever. Yep. You know, it's like I said, 7 million people moved out of Illinois in 2013. They left that state. 7 million. That's a huge city's population.
Mm-hmm. Quite.
So, anyway, I didn't mean to step on your parade, man. So
oh, no. I mean, we're just kind of, you know, it's Memorial Day, so we're relaxed.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, there's a hyper report. Scott actually got up out of bed and did something, you know, Manarino didn't.
But, it's a holiday.
Well, yeah, I know. And he didn't really. But he had stuff to talk about. Look, I mean, we spent 30 minutes talking about it. What's going on Wall Street? 20 minutes anyway. Yeah,
Russia's my new focus, just because I think Russia is going to be our nail in the coffin. And every quote unquote expert, you know, is pointing towards that now. They're like, man, this is all strategery, as George Bush would say. I mean, it's all strategy.
Yeah, it is.
He's playing the chess game very well.
That's all it is. It's a game. It's a game. And they're about out of chips. I mean, they're about down to their last roll of the dice. So
yeah, they're getting ready to go all in. So be looking for that false flag that'll bump off, you know. I don't think they expected this, and that's why they were trying to end that quantitative easing before, so they wouldn't get the blame. I don't think they anticipated the barb in our butt that Russia's ended up being.
No, they didn't expect Putin to stand up and go, no. Excuse me?
No.
You invaded 5 countries in the last 3 years, and you're going to bitch about somebody wanting to join my federation?
And, you know, in that speech that I just read and everything else, I mean, there wasn't much that wasn't true. I mean, there wasn't much that wasn't true.
I know. So, he didn't invade nobody. He didn't go in there and start lobbing bombs and freedom this and shooting that and CIA and you know, or whatever, you know.
Pretty sure he's pulled every one of his troops off the border, too. He said that. I remember it was going to happen last week, so.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So.
But if you see John Kerry out there with satellite footage showing that there's a buildup, don't be surprised.
Yeah. All right. Hyper Report's only 1 minute and 29 seconds today because of a holiday.
That's the shortest one ever.
Yeah, he kind of sped through things. So here's his.
Hello, this is Scott and this is a Hyper Report. Today's report is sponsored by the free book Ramblings of a Madman. Here are the quotes for various items. First, this will be an abbreviated report so that as a veteran I can enjoy more of this 3-day weekend. Next, joke fine. Barclays was slapped with a $44 million fine over their involvement in the manipulation of gold prices. Of course, with the billions that were likely made with the gold fixing and high-frequency trading, why such a small fine? The straight answer is that it's the manipulated market and it's so likely to the economies on both sides of the Atlantic. People should look at this as another delay to continue to get ready for when the other shoe does drop. Next, warehousing suit. JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs are facing class action lawsuits over their likely manipulation of artificially inflated zinc prices. Seriously, is anyone really surprised? Where there is smoke, there is fire. Next, Oklahoma rejects Common Core. Common Core is an attempt to centralize the education system in the U.S. with substandard education standards. The pushback against Common Core has spread like wildfire, and now Oklahoma has just joined South Carolina and Indiana in rejecting this scheme. More and more states have realized that the standards are not in the best interest of students and parents. Seriously, the only good thing coming out of Washington is when a douchebag politician is sent packing after an election. Finally, please prepare now for the escalating economic and social unrest. Good day.
Pretty good one for a short one.
Yeah, I didn't know he was a veteran either. Or if I did, I forgot.
Yeah. He's, I think he was in the Air Force, I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. I think he said in one of his, but.
And, you know, we will give a shout out to the veterans for actually getting brainwashed and falling into the hype just like everybody else until we woke up. That's why you're listening.
Well, yeah, regardless of how you feel about war, the Warriors deserve a tip of the hat.
They're pawns in the game. I mean, they're pawns in the game.
They made and most of them, like me and like you, when we joined, we had no clue what we know now.
Yeah.
You know, I had no clue.
I wouldn't have.
I was a flag waving, John Wayne loving, America.
Now I try to talk people out of joining the military just because, hey man, this is the military industrial complex. Let me explain a little bit about, the history of wars and everything else.
Let me educate you on what you're about ready to step into and sign
Exactly. Try to wake up. I wish somebody would have pulled me aside and tried to give me all this information. Of course, we didn't have the internet when I joined.
And most people didn't know what we knew. Very few.
Yeah, because the only way, and think about it, I've said it before the internet was invented and before the smartphones and everything else, where was the only place you could get your information?
Television.
Or the library, or some maybe alternative journals that you could get through the mail, right. Libertarian news and, stuff, UFO Daily, so you'd get your news from Science Weekly and, dude, you were told what to think, Yep. They weren't to tell you the truth, only what they want you to believe. And we know that now, so, why are people still joining the military?
There's still some television watchers, There's still some fluoride drinkers.
Oh, there's more than there are.
Vaccinated youth.
No, there's more that are like that than are like us. Or else, there'd be 100,000 people listening.
Right. And the American Spring would have actually happened.
Yeah, it's an idea.
Sad,
well, I think it's still an idea. It's going to be what it takes.
I know.
But timing wasn't right.
No.
People aren't hurting enough. Take away the money, shut off that spigot, cut off welfare, do all that. When it finally goes out, then you'll get desperate. Said it before, you're not going to have riots until they take money away, till they take WIC away, till they take welfare away. Till you take that away, you're not going to have riots in the street.
No, that's true.
Money's the only thing that's going to get people motivated nowadays. The majority. I say that, the majority, not us.
I'm looking through my Twitter feed. I want to try to find I know I tweeted out your thingy. Really?
Oh, the cars? I can drop it to you.
I got it on here somewhere. Nope. Wait a minute. I'm past it. I'll just go over here to Skype and grab it up again.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, I emailed it to you, didn't I?
Yeah, you did that too. But I can just go over here and grab it. So let me ask you about the video that I passed you about the chick in New York.
Oh, I think the zombie, the headline on it was, zombie attack. And I'll tell you what, the lady looked like she was on some serious, heroin, smack, crack. It could have been that crocodile, stuff that's making its rounds.
The crocodile's eating people alive, though.
Well, that's
true. She was on that, you'd have known it. And the one chick that was filming her when the cops finally showed up and tried to put her in handcuffs after EMS said, we're not touching her.
She was kind of growling a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, well, she was walking around and she was like, well, the only thing she really does is heroin and crack.
Yep. Yeah, she did. I heard that. In fact, I had to rewind it.
Right, but that one cat was like, she's bugging out, man.
Yeah, and there was probably 20 people recording it.
She was just sitting on the EMS was watching her, right? I mean, they were kind of making sure she wasn't going to hurt herself or whatever, but she wouldn't get up off the ground.
No,
she was laying on the ground, rolling around.
She couldn't get up. She couldn't get up.
Right.
She was on some serious
when she come up out of the stairwell, she had something all over her face, all over her arms.
Yeah, it was ashy, dirt. Ashes.
Well, I'm just wondering if she was like down there huffing paint or, you know what I mean? Cause some of those people that huff paint, dude, they get baked.
I don't know. When I saw the headline for zombie, kind of pissed me off because, come on, man, this woman isn't a zombie. Don't even give out fake bullcrap headlines like that.
Right. If you'd have caught her eating somebody, then you put the zombie thing to it. But.
Yeah, or you knew she was dead and she came back because, zombies are dead.
Right. That too.
And somebody knew her, so she wasn't a zombie. She was whacked out. Maybe she, whatever. But that was my thoughts on it. They shouldn't have put zombie on there.
No, I don't think so either.
Did you find that car thing?
Strange old vehicles. No, that's not the one. Carfax. There it is. Okay. Yeah. This is it.
And keep in mind, the guy, what you're getting ready to read, this guy saying, I emailed you a whole bunch of other cool ones. I sorted his emails so you could look through them. He's a retired NASA engineer, 50 years, 40 years out at NASA Research Langley.
Right.
And comes across some of the coolest information and pictures and stuff like that. So.
Oh, you know it.
Yeah.
They're privy to a lot more stuff than we'll ever be.
Oh yeah.
They got access to Library of Alexandria stuff.
Oh yeah. His engineer buddies send out a lot of stuff, and he sends out, it's all unclassified, but unless you do a specific search for it, that stuff's never publicized.
Right. Well, hang on, man. I got this call I got to take. It's from DARPA. Be right back.
Yep. Be right back.
That kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I think it's 27 facts that you probably didn't know about the automotive industry. And some of these were really mind-boggling to me.
Mind-boggling, yeah.
Okay. Windshield wipers were invented by a woman. Bet you didn't know that one. I didn't know that one. The city with the most Rolls Royces per capita, Hong Kong. Ferrari makes about 14 cars a day. The most expensive car ever sold is the 1931 Bugatti Royal Kellner Coupe with a price of $8.7 million.
It's a pretty car, too. Yeah,
it's
people have to look at the links.
Car.
Yeah, drop the link after you're done. Yeah.
I will. The heaviest limousine is the Midnight Rider. It weighs 50,560 pounds. It houses up to 40 passengers, has 3 lounges, and a bar. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's a Peterbilt.
It's a converted, 18-wheeler, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, I love that truck.
Isn't it beautiful? It's beautiful.
The first car radio was invented by Paul Gavin in 1929. Car airbags kill 1 person for every 22 they save.
I knew that.
I did too.
Yeah, I remember reading that.
You pay 8 times more for a gallon of Grande Latte Starbucks than for a gallon of gas.
That's why I don't drink Starbucks.
8 times. 8 times. That's like $40 a gallon.
Mm-hmm.
It would take more than 150 years for a car to drive to the sun. Depends on how fast you're going, I reckon. While 53% of car owners wash their car at least once a month, 16% never wash them at all.
That's me. I've had my truck 5 years. I've never washed it.
Wow, dude.
Well, it's a 95 S10, beat all the hell up, so.
Red cars are prohibited in Shanghai, China. Figure that one out.
A vanity thing, I believe.
Drivers kill more deer than hunters every year.
I knew that.
I did too. It's a sad fact. While average speed driven by cars in LA was 60 miles an hour in 1972, by 1982, the number dropped to 17 miles an hour. In 1 decade, the traffic got so bad in LA, the average speed was 17 miles an hour in town. Unbelievable, man.
And on the highways.
You wonder why that's back in the 80s, right? That's 85 to like 90 was when all those drive-by shootings were happening, or those random shootings out on the freeways. People just jump out of their car because they were stuck in traffic and they start blanging away. Mm-hmm. I remember all that stuff too. Mm-hmm. They were making fun on movies and stuff about it. Mm-hmm. Being used in the movie Gone in 60 Seconds, the 1967 Shelby Mustang GT 500 is recognized as one of the most famous cars in the world ever. Like right up there with the Batmobile. Mm-hmm. There is 1 car per person in the U.S., including babies. That's 370 plus million rides. The biggest amount of people stuffed in a smart car is 19. Pakistan crashers managed to do that at the Defense Authority Creek Club in Karachi, Pakistan on 15 December 2010. They crammed 19 people into one of them little two-door smart cars. I bet that was fun. The biggest speeding fine ever given was $1 million to a guy who was going 180 miles an hour in Switzerland. The penalties are based on the speed and the salary of the driver there. So when you get a ticket in Switzerland, better hope you're washing cars for a living. $1 million, man. They gave him $1 million ticket for speeding. I'll bet he shit his shorts.
Yeah, well, he could afford it.
I still bet he shit his shorts.
Probably. Yeah, who knows what he was driving either to get up to that speed.
Right, 180. There's not very many cars out there that'll do 180.
No. Aston Martins. I mean, yeah, there's some, but yeah, they're expensive $100,000 cars. Mm-hmm. Or more.
Every American spends approximately 2 weeks of his life being stopped at red lights. I think it's more than that, actually. That kind of sounds a little low. 2 weeks? I don't know. I've been at some really, really long lights.
Yeah, and when an ambulance comes through, it really resets it and it pisses me off.
Yeah. The first automobile race held in the U.S. happened in Chicago in 1895. Frank Doria won it with an average speed of 71.5 miles an hour. That's cooking along in that little thing that he's driving. So there you go. Those are some facts about the automotive industry that you probably didn't know. A lot of them I did not know. Mm-hmm. Especially the windshield wiper one. I didn't know windshield wipers were created by a woman.
Well,
they should have named her in that one.
And who would have thought that, that they drove around? How long did they drive around before they put windshield wipers on the car? Because maybe they didn't drive in the rain. A lot of them were open top cars to begin with, too.
Yeah, true. True.
So you wouldn't need the windshield wipers until you developed hardtop cars, in mainstream.
Right. Just tie the kid to the hood, man. Give him a rag. Mm-hmm. Because we're going down the road, man. It's a little hazy.
The passenger would stand up and have to wipe off the window or something.
Right. I remember a Laurel and Hardy skit like that.
Yep.
Where he gave him the windshield wiper and he was like, stick outside. That was funny.
Those guys were classic.
Mm-hmm. All right, man. You got anything else you want to do? You got another story you want to talk?
I just wanted, when you guys were talking Saturday night about pet peeves, I wanted to call in, but I was so sick. And I got a pet peeve that probably other people see, and this is my pet peeve. When you walk up to a store door or something like that, and the hours stay Sunday through Monday, 10 to 10. Why don't you say 7 days a week?
Right.
I hate that. That is my biggest pet peeve, and so many restaurants.
That's your biggest?
That's one of my biggest pet peeves. I'm pretty easy. So that's one of my biggest pet peeves. I'm pretty easy. I don't have a whole lot of slow drivers. Slow drivers, people that drive below the speed limit, and people that drive in the left lane on the interstate. Those
people that don't use their blinkers. That's a huge pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
They cause accidents, man. I can't tell you how many accidents I've seen.
I agree. And then you just hold your hands up right behind them, and they're like, and they give you
they flip you off.
Yeah, they give you the finger because they did something wrong. Okay, yeah, I got you.
What else? And here's something. I see this meme going around all the time. What is it about? I mean, it seems like it's in everybody now. If you see a cop, you freak out. Everybody behind the wheel freaks out as soon as they see lights on top of the car.
Never feel safe. Who feels safe when a cop pulls out behind them?
Even if they're coming the other way on the interstate or something, man. I mean, it's like everybody all of a sudden they got a snap to, and they're standing at hands at 10 and 2, and
they don't even have to put on their lights. They just get behind you a couple cars, and everybody slides their seatbelts on. Yeah, slides their seatbelts on, and
they cause wolf packs on the
interstate. Turns the radio down.
Everybody's scared to death to go by them.
Yep. Turn the radio down. I've been wanting to stick my middle finger out to one of them as they pull up next to me because the Supreme Court did say that it's my First Amendment right if I want to flick off a police officer, but I can't.
That's an expression of your, or self-expression or something like that. It's
So,
self-expression.
I've been wanting to do it, but I quite haven't gotten the balls yet. So if I ever do, I'll let you know if I get a ticket.
The first thing you need to do before you stick your finger up in the air is hit play on the iPhone or record.
Yeah, right.
And get the whole thing on tape. Because if you get tased or something, I want to see it.
Yeah.
And cops are not liking being filmed at all.
No.
Even though the Supreme Court said that we have the right to do it, and the Supreme Court overrules any kind of state law or whatever, I mean, it's overriding, right?
Do you remember Hill Street Blues?
Yes, I do. That was one of my favorite shows.
Everybody, remember the sergeant, hey, let's be safe out there, or however he ended it.
Yeah.
So why can't they come into they have a briefing every day, we know that from Hill Street Blues, and say they can record you and you can't stop them. So don't say stupid shit so that when they record you, they put you on YouTube and make you look stupid. So
just know that every stop you make, if there's more than 2 people there, you're going to be on video, because YouTube's got, there's tens of thousands or tens of millions.
Yeah.
People going through checkpoints and blah, blah, blah.
Here's a good idea. Because, crime rates went down in the cities where cops had to wear cameras on their stuff. Yeah. Police brutality complaints went down to 88%, et cetera, et cetera. So why don't they all do that, and then we'll stop recording them? So
exactly. Well, see, but if they do that, they know, I mean, unless it's live, unless it's going out there live, they can get that audio tape and videotape and edit it out and blah, 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 blah.
Well, it's like that one guy that
I think they've been caught doing that, actually.
Well, that one guy shut his camera off and then
commenced to beat the shit out of somebody.
And the chief, as soon as he found that out, fired the guy on the spot. So, I mean, some people aren't going to take it.
Some people.
But that was a place that they had cameras on themselves, and he turned it off. So had somebody been filming him, he may not have done that or gotten away with it as easy.
Jules had the idea, and it's been months and months and months ago. And she said it would be a very, not maybe simple, but a very easy thing to do would be to put them all on live 24 hours a day. Well, not 24 hours a day, but I mean, as soon as you put the key in the car and start it up, baby, that camera's going.
Well, I mean, it's not many places you can ride around, whether it be a shopping center, a main street. You're recorded just about at least 50, 60, 70% of the places you go. I mean, you go to a shopping mall, you're on video.
Stores, yeah. If you're walking through a downtown anywhere, you're going to be on 25 cameras by the time you walk through.
Yeah, I mean, you go through DC, there's cameras on poles up on the lights so they can see
private and public. Yeah, I mean, state owned and private owned too. Like banks got their own security system. Most everybody's got their bars got security inside, outside, all over the parking lots.
I've never heard somebody use an argument to the cop going, look, man, you're already being recorded. All the surveillance around you. Look, why you got a problem with me recording you?
Right. If you ain't doing nothing wrong, what's your problem?
Nothing to hide. Yeah, you got nothing
That's
to hide.
exactly what you tell us. So right back at you, baby, because you're a civilian too. You ain't no kind of paramilitary. I mean, you're a paramilitary organization, but you got no other authority over me. You got the same authority over me that I got over you. You're a civilian, Jack. Just because you wear a badge and a gun, that don't give you any special extra rights. You're a civilian. You slap me in the mouth, I'm going to turn around and slap you back.
You're going to get handcuffed after that, but yeah.
I'll give them $10 if they can handcuff me without going to the fucking hospital. Oops. Ah, man, I almost made it through the whole show without an F-bomb, but these get me riled up, man. These get me riled up. And I'll tell you what, folks, there was a local report that I caught about I think I'm not sure if it was a Baxter County sheriff, so I'm not going to say any names, but there was a sheriff or a PD, somebody, an officer of the law, local around here, that got caught doing a little bit of excessive force on one of his people that he tried to lock up. So I kind of got my finger in the water on that one. I'm going to test the waters. I got my press credentials.
Yeah, you're press.
I'm going to grab my camera and I'm going to grab my Marantz and I'm going to go to this cat's precinct and I'm going to see if I can get him on tape or get his cop, his chief on tape or something. I want to see what they've got to say about this.
Mm-hmm.
So, because if there's one thing that really gets me going, it's police brutality. I do not like it. It is uncalled for. These people live on our dime.
Now, you want to say the military's brainwashed. Jeez.
Well, a lot of these cats coming back are military, man. They're ex-military. They can't find a job doing nothing else, right? Because you can't stand in the middle of Walmart and try to help people out and have a flashback.
Mm.
You're going to run over to the toy aisle and grab a Nerf gun and start popping people.
I mean, over the last year, I did about a dozen mortgage loans for police officers. And I'd say almost all of them, if not 80% of them, were all veterans in the last, 10 years.
Yeah, so they're a bunch of roided up, tattooed up, freak mutant meat sacks that just
they all got combat patches on their right shoulder for sure.
Yep. So we're going to see how that goes. I'm going to test the waters on that one. It'll probably be next month before I'm able to get it done, but it's coming in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, don't let the story go cold.
It ain't going cold. It's in the papers around here. So it ain't going to go cold. I don't think it made the national.
So is he on paid leave?
That I don't know yet. I just got one little blurb about it, and I'm still digging. So
why don't you go get a job at your local paper? Be a alternative reporter.
There was actually
freelance.
Just to throw it out there was actually an opening at an AM station here. They had like a 2-hour slot, 5 days a week. And I could have done it right here at my desk. I could have called in on Skype just like I'm doing now through their thing and did a 2-hour show 5 days a week. And the slot's still open. They're just playing some random shit in it right now, but I don't have the degree or nothing, you know what I mean? I don't know if I could just go in there and take a couple of archives of mine and toss it to them, and because the first time they heard the F-bomb slip, they'd be like, oh, sorry, can't do that. First time they heard me saying crap like I was just saying about the police, brutality and all that shit, I don't think.
Well, tell them what you're going to get. I mean, you're getting hard-hitting, truth-telling person here. So it's the stories that, all the news that's fit to print, I can assure you, that you don't print.
But see, if I ever start jumping down a rabbit hole about the Anunnaki or something like that, man, I don't want to get the plug pulled on me. I know Jules ain't never going to jerk me off the air for something that I might trip off and say, some kind of rabbit hole I might slip down. She's not going to go,
right.
I
can do a 2-hour show on Anunnaki.
Oh, yeah. And I think
Sumerian culture.
If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if Chucky's listening or not, but I think Chuck wants to do an extended show about the whole prehistory thing.
I'm all in on it.
Yeah.
I've been studying it for years.
Well, let him know. Send him. I think he's on your friends list, right? Drop him.
Oh, he is. Yeah, we chat back and forth.
There you go. Drop him a line. Tell him.
Yep.
I'm in. Add to that show.
Oh, yeah. Anunnaki are real, man. The history's there. You can't deny it.
You can't deny it.
You can't deny it.
If you do deny it, then you got something going on, man, because, you're able to put your foot in your mouth and your head up your ass at the same time. That's pretty talent. That's some talent.
Right. Ignorance is bliss a lot of times.
And majority of the people out there are ignorant.
And they take that philosophy, that mantra, true to heart.
To the nth degree.
To the nth degree, yeah. No, don't tell me anything.
You're a special kind of stupid, aren't you? But see, I got to toss this out, man, and I don't want to pop your bubble or nothing, but I got to toss this out. As awake as you are in certain aspects of your life, you are so asleep in other ones, man. Like the whole, I'm just going to toss it out there. The whole Silverwater thing, because I've been telling you since you told me about the whole the whole spider bite thing. What did I tell you? What's the first thing I told you? Silverwater. I said you need to apply it topically, and you need to drink a shot a day for 30 days at least, and get that venom out of your body. That antibacterial properties in the silver will work throughout your whole body. It'll permeate your skin, it'll permeate all your blood vessels, and it will clean you up. Did you go out and buy any?
No.
What'd you do? You went to the freaking doctor. And how many shows have we had where we've talked about doctors and how they don't know shit all about shit all, and they kill people like by the millions a year.
And I got a shot from them too.
Jesus. Well, it was a tetanus though. I give you a tetanus, okay?
They tried to give me the other ones. They're like, you haven't had a vaccination in like 10 years. And I'm like,
goddamn right I haven't.
Tetanus is the only thing. So, however, go ahead, right here in the left arm, because I don't use it that much.
Yeah, okay. And then you trusted him to draw it out of the vial. You're like, I watched him pull it out of the bottle. So, what was in the bottle, man? You don't know. It could have been thallium for all you know.
I don't want to die of tetanus. I heard that's a painful way to die.
It is very painful. It is very painful.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I give you props for that. But the whole going to the doctor thing, man. Jesus.
Well, lymph nodes still swollen the size of my fist. So
after going to the doctor. So what are you going to do tomorrow? You're going to go back to the doctor.
Yeah,
you think they're going to cure you?
I'm out. Well, I mean, antibiotics are going to kill it. I mean, but they just didn't get the right one the first time.
On your way home from going to the doctor,
I will. I'll get
stop by and buy yourself some, or get yourself a silver generator for Christ's sake. That way you can make all you need.
I have to look into that.
Couple $300, man. And you can generate. I mean, talk to JJ. JJ knows how to make them at home from a freaking car battery and some other shit. I mean, there's all kinds of, Google it, YouTube it.
All right, I will. And I mean, I don't go to the doctor even if I'm sick, but this is a huge infection on my leg. I mean, the hole where
what do you think they did back in the 1700s? And you think they all stopped and ran up to the?
Well, they had penicillin back then, and penicillin killed stuff back then, and it doesn't anymore because we've overused it.
It wasn't everywhere.
Now, and I can't remember what city it is. Darn it, they banned antibacterial hand soap in all the schools, is what it was, in government buildings. So kudos to them, because antibacterial soap has been the downfall of
a lot of antibiotics,
bacteria. Yeah,
made them superbugs.
And it was all because of overusing penicillin and stuff like that, and antibiotics and antibacterial soap. So kudos to them.
Yeah, just use natural stuff, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
do.
Trust Mother Nature.
Yep, I do that. It's getting harder and harder to find people that are really telling the truth on what's in their products, though, because darn it, how do you know? You get all these people
take it to a lab and say, "Hey, man, I need the breakdown on this."
Yeah, or you grow it yourself. Grow as much of it as you can yourself.
Yeah.
Because then you know where it came from. Because you hear about all these,
what's in your soil,
brand and all these other companies, Naked, advertising all this great healthy stuff, and then come to find out, well, it's not.
Yeah, 3 years later, we've had 12 deaths, and several people have tried to commit suicide by drinking this energy drink.
Yeah. So I mean, it's hard. You really don't know what's in any of your stuff unless. Sure. You buy it from a trusted source.
60 seconds. That was a quick hour, man. With the
it was. Live, laugh, love. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah. Love, peace, and happiness, everybody. Love, peace, and happiness. Try to live your life that way every single day.
Just remember, you'll never get another day like this one. Sometimes that's a good thing, but remember, you'll never get another day just like this one.
And even the bad ones, you learn something from, and it makes you who you are.
That's all experience is a lot of bad errors and judgment.
Yeah.
Sadly. I like to learn from other people's mistakes instead of my own, but not always. Not always.
It's a little less effective, though.
Yeah. You don't believe it. Is that hot? Is that burner hot?
Oh, it was on that finger.
That's right.
Peace, everybody.
Peace and love.
Stay tuned for Turboville. He's got an excellent show coming up next. You don't want to miss it. He's really got his irons in the fire when it comes to this whole Middle East Ukraine thingy. So give that a listen. Then there's a replay of Prepper Chicks or Primer Time. Nick Burnaby's after that. March Against Monsanto went pretty well. UCY.TV, the place to be. Peace.